All right. We are here with a Saw review, taking it back to 2004. I am Raiden, this is Blood Honey, and of course, we have just reviewed recently, after it's just been released, Spiral from the book of Saw, officially the ninth entry in this series. Hey. Don't give me that look. She loves giving me that look. Yes, so we are taking it back because, of course, I am the horror fan. She, not so much. So, taking her through many classic horror franchises. And thus, here we are now. So, we can just jump right on into it. Saw. Very impactful film, to say the least, in various ways. Walking away from it. How do you feel about it?
How many more movies are there again?
Ones that you have not seen after this one, it would be
Was it
seven more. Seven more.
So it was 8 total. The one we watched and then 7 more.
Yeah. Because since we watched this one in Spiral, that means we have 7 more left. So there's nine total. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what kind of backlash I'm gonna get, but I kind of like Spiral better because it was, in your face gore, and that was ridiculous. It was like, wow. This was like, okay, he sawed his foot and the chick had the thing on her head. Okay, whatever. It didn't really grab me. I mean, you're like, okay, is it this guy? Is it that guy? I never would have guessed it was the dude laying on the floor the whole time.
That's the thing.
That was
most
cool.
people didn't. I mean, that was the huge thing with this film.
The look
it's
on
like
the dude's face.
I mean,
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But I kind of like Spiral better.
That's fair enough. I mean, hey, like I said, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, this movie in general. I mean, the first one, obviously, it was the first one. It wasn't.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't gonna be this whole grandiose, like a lot of these franchises. Of course, they ramp things up as they go along. For better or worse. Obviously, compared to many of the sequels, it is very subtle by comparison. So as we go along, you'll be seeing a hell of a lot more gore and traps, as it were. But yeah, I mean, compared to that, it's completely tame. It's very much like a it's just more so just about the mystery and suspense factor of like, what exactly is going on. Yeah. With this film, okay, so how the origins of this film. It was done by Lee Winnell and James Wan, who, two names. One in particular you may know very well now. James Wan, who's, directed big films now like Furious 7, Aquaman, other I mean, he's gone on to do a lot of shit at this point. Lee Winnell, he more recently did like the Invisible Man movie that they had and everything. But yeah, they were just two like Australian friends, like fresh out of film school, and they had like this, of course, just this concept and something they wanted to implement. They had done a short film and basically, I think, showed that to Lionsgate, and had a very small budget for this film, and then it went to like film festivals like I think Sundance or whatever, and then had a huge amount of buzz. Next thing you know, it's this giant phenomenon being released theatrically. It made buttloads of money, so of course on a very low budget like that for something, you got to continue on, especially with the way it leaves you. So yeah, they literally came from nothing working on this film, but managed to get some stars like Cary Elwes and Danny Glover.
Yeah, it's funny that you said it Buzz and Saw. Anyway, Cary. I know him.
Yeah, Cary Elwes. Yeah,
lots of other movies.
Yeah, he's been around stuff like Twister. Of course,
I mean, it must have been the fluorescent lighting. The whole blonde thing didn't work for me. It was really weird.
Well, for some people, his acting didn't work because some people would say like, "Oh, yeah, the acting in it for these two in particular, not that great." Lee Winnell is actually the guy in the room with him who played Adam, who was the writer on it.
Oh.
Yeah, so the first thing he had ever done, I don't think he's actually that bad, especially with the character Adam. He's actually pretty decent. and all of that. So yeah, for the acting what it was, I think it serves its purpose. Like I said, it's just a very interesting and unique film, especially for the time when it came out. It was just like, especially with an ending like that. I mean, whether it worked for you or not, you can't deny it's a hell of a ending and an idea. Now, so yeah, so going through, so you didn't really care too much for, like, how do you feel about the characters overall? Like, did you
I mean,
like Adam Lawrence?
you get. I got invested. I wanted to know what was going on
Mm-hmm.
with Carrie. Carrie's doctor character. The family and
Lawrence
stuff.
Gordon,
And
yeah.
what what was gonna happen there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, the other dude, yeah, that's kind of when that was all unraveling. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. And then the cigarette thing, I'm like, okay, what's he gonna do?
Well, yeah, in that
Yeah,
moment, yeah, he had. That's why he turned the lights off, and they sit there and try to talk quietly because obviously they were listening in on him. And he was
yeah.
just trying to find any way to try to get out of it. So that's why he gave him the cigarette that didn't have the blood or poison on it. Which it's a play for more of a comedic moment. Maybe a little bit silly for this movie in this particular situation, but with how Adam portrayed it. But there are some like mini lighthearted moments like that, particularly from Adam, like some fun lines he throws out there. Like, I don't care if you cover yourself in peanut butter and had a 15 hooker gangbang. Shit. Lines like that are actually pretty amusing when he spouts them out. But yeah, I mean, so this is very much a bottle film, a film that basically takes place in one location. And I like movies like that. I like it when they can really just work with like just a one setting and just really have you be in a situation. I mean, just puzzle films like this is basically what it is. And I like movies like that. I like a good suspense type of film. And yeah, when I first saw it back in the day when it first came out, I remember seeing the trailers and it's just like, yeah, that's very intriguing because he says the one line, doesn't want us to cut through our chains, he wants us to cut through our feet. And you hear that line in the trailer, it's just like, oh shit, what's that all about? And then you see it, you're just like, wow, that's really, really something else.
That's funny. I don't remember the trailer. I know
I
exactly what year
remember
this came out. I know how
2000.
long ago that was.
Yeah, so
And
if it doesn't like, man, it's just like that's when you feel like you're getting old. It's like, yeah, yeah, that's long ago. Shit, I'm getting old. It really doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but hey, you know.
you're getting old. Anyway,
In this
yeah,
day and age, yeah, trust me. Uh, yeah, so yeah, the mystery aspect in Danny Glover's character, like with Spiral, like I said, going back to these earlier ones in particular, is very much kind of, cop drama type of thing. Again, just trying to unravel the mystery. Now, with the Tap character, how do you feel about that character in relation to
that
the whole
was
situation?
that was the orderly guy.
Well, Tap, the detective, Danny Glover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, the orderly guy was the other. Okay. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was. Well, yeah, obviously it made me think of, excuse me, of Spiral because we just watched that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so yeah, they were trying to get the guy, whatever, however long ago that was, and then, yeah, his partner.
Sing, yeah, he
Kind of
got.
got the raw end of the deal there.
Oh yeah, yeah, he certainly did. I mean, for what little bit he's on screen, I mean, he does have a likability to him when he gets blasted away like that. You're just like, shit. It's like that's really, really uncool, man.
Yeah, I'm watching that steering and like, yo, all right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, for what small budget this film has, a lot of the way it's shot, it's rather effective in a lot of ways. Like with that, like, no pun, but yeah, that
I was
particular
gonna
shot.
say, that
I mean, the way
was
that they show
loaded.
it, it's like below the head, of course, so you don't really see the whole effect of everything, but you doesn't have the blood dripping down. I mean, just certain editing and stuff like that, and the way the camera spins
Camera
around
angles and such.
with the
Yeah.
bear trap scene and everything. It's a very hyper kinetic type of filming, and it's very, very unique, especially again for when it came out, and it just has such a distinct style and feel about it to where it definitely has environment. It has a feel. It has that suspense factor that you can't really deny. and it's very interesting. Now, going throughout it, like when as things were going along, how did you feel about like who the killer actually was? Like, did you maybe leaning towards one way or the other more, or like how were you feeling about that? Because you hear his voice throughout, and you see Zepp, of course, and you see the type of character that he is. Did you really think that he was the main guy, or did you feel like there was more? Like, what did you suspect exactly?
I really didn't think it was the doctor, Carrie. Yeah, I know that's not his name. Anyway, I really didn't think it was him. Okay, he may have done like something nasty on the side. Not like, what we saw in Spiral nasty. Just, okay, he may have fooled around. Whatever. I didn't suspect him. The other dude, I'm like, okay. The taking pictures thing was kind of weird. Didn't exactly suspect him, but I'm like, eh. And the orderly guy? No idea. He was kind of weird, I guess, in the little bit that they showed, and then, kind of the reveals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't suspect the dude on the floor. Friggin' laying there the entire time.
Yeah.
Because, you didn't see him move, I don't think. I'd have to sit there and watch.
I know. It's a hell of a twist. I know it blew people's minds in one way, shape, or form. Like I said, whether or not they, possibly saw it coming, or like I said, just threw out a guess because it's like, okay, it's a mystery film. They're probably going to do some crazy shit. What's going to happen? Or like, does it make sense to them or what? But you just know when people first saw that, it's just like, I distinctly remember having watched that moment in the theater, and I know that I remember hearing like some dude in the audience, I swear to God, literally, I remember like as he started to stand up, I heard one guy, "What the fuck?" It was.
I would have loved to have been there to hear that.
Man, I tell you, man. Like, again, for like I said, for better or worse, just seeing this movie and having experienced a moment like that, I'm like, that's very few and far between with certain films, and it's just like that's one of the greatest moments me ever going to a theater seeing this movie. Because, like, for one, like I said, yeah, I personally enjoy it. Like, I know it has its flaws and stuff like that, and I can understand if you're a fan or not. But again, an experience like this is just unbelievable, and that's stuck with me forever.
Yeah, that's not something you're likely to forget. That's really dang funny. I've been to my share of opening night movies and stuff.
And I'm pretty sure, and I, like I said, if I can recall the inflections voice, like I know it was some black dude just like, "What the fuck?" I was like, I think I remember watching that. I just remember like it's like like you can hear some people just kind of like laughing, but at the same time like enthralled with what they're seeing. It's just like, oh my goodness, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, and it's just it's quite a brilliant moment.
Yeah, that, like I was saying, when the room was revealed and you see the dude on the floor, it's like, oh shit, what happened here? And then the tapes and stuff kind of say what happened or what you need to do, whatever.
Yeah.
And I honestly do not recall seeing if the guy like twitched or moved ever so slightly. So.
And you want to know? It's like, of course, as the series goes on, we'll get into more details about certain things and then certain actors. But Tobin Bell is the man who plays Jigsaw, and yeah, of course, as you saw like throughout, like in certain shots, he was the man like that. Gordon was there for like the people coming in and everything and observing. Yeah, that was the actual actor. Like, he committed to it. He was actually there to lay on the floor. He went full on with it. He was in those shots, laying on the floor the entire shoot. Had like little next to nothing else to do throughout. But that's how committed he was. It's like, I'll lay on the floor for these shots. I'll do that, and so yeah. But like I said, you'll get more of a lot of those details, and it gets very intriguing, to say the least.
Okay, so how did he electrocute those guys? Was it on some sort of timer?
Well, you saw at the end. After he got up and after Adam reached for the gun, he throws his hand up and he has like a little buzz.
His hand.
Yeah, so he had like the little buzzer like hidden under his hand and probably just like lightly,
I know, that's why I'm like, I didn't see Move.
No,
So,
well, obviously they would be careful about showing
yeah.
anything whatsoever. But
I imagine because
as far
face
as like having
down, if you had like a trigger in your mouth or something, obviously you're not going to see that sort of movement.
it's probably like just like him
Like a
just
jaw
under
sort
his
of
hand,
trigger.
like I said, just because his hands were down and everything. So yeah, so he was the one doing it because like yeah, being front and center is being able to actually go about that. But yeah, I mean it's like I said, it's a hell of a situation. Now, of course, by the end and everything, and as that was all happening, like what was all going through your head as it was occurring, we were just like
What
the very end, like as yeah,
reveal?
as it was all unfolding, it was just like, are you with it? Are you not? Or is it just like what the fuck in general? Like,
No, I think I was pretty much in Adam's lack of shoes, as it were. Like the face and everything. I'm like, oh shit, or
he
or
does sell
movie
them.
theater dude.
Yeah, he does sell the moment. Though I'll
So
give him. Yeah, I'll give him that.
I did not see that. Honest to God, genuine, did not see it. So bravo on that.
Yeah.
That was pretty
It's one of those
cool.
things you can imagine. Like, okay, like first of all, the situation to be in is already bad enough, but like in that particular instance, in reality, you just gotta wonder if you saw something like that in particular. You just gotta be like, again, because he sells it so well. Like, yeah, you've just been through some shit, but at the same time, you're seeing this, you just forget everything. You're just like at this particular thing, like yeah, you're the guy who did this, but what the fuck, man? Like, what you like? Really? You were there the whole damn time. It's like,
How many hours was that dude laying there?
yeah. Well, the game, what was it supposed to run? Like 6 hours, I think, or something like that, and not including the time he had to lay there, like until he woke up. Which I don't know if it was too long, but like I said, we'll get into a lot more of that. But yeah, anyway, it's just a very intriguing film, and like I said, for some people, like they may or may not be a fan going forward with a lot of this stuff, but it left an impact. I would say that, especially by the time it's all said and done, you've seen all of them. I would say this was kind of like the last great iconic horror franchise. Whether it's more gore, filled and not like a particular slasher, so to speak. Like I said, for certain people, but at the same time, again, I feel like it was just kind of like that last one because these were coming out every Halloween since then. Like from 2004 onward, every single year they would come out. So that was, that was a tradition during this time when they were coming out. And like I said, I just don't feel like there was anything else really like this after that because especially now since we still got certain films like spin-offs coming out. I don't think there's anything else like it. I don't know if we'll even have anything else like it because
No, I don't
because
think
a lot of
so.
these things I have now are just like remakes or some sort of spin-off or something like that. So I don't
Or
know.
D-rate slasher
Yeah, I just
type
don't know if
movies.
like a
So
big horror franchise like this is really bound to happen anytime soon, especially with the way like things are with theaters and stuff. So Saw was kind of like the last thing I would say, honestly. Like I said, fan or not, you can't really deny
yeah,
because a lot of iconic imagery and like I said, the music, the score, that music at the end, which they play at the end of Spiral, which I was very happy about. I'm a sucker for it. When I hear it every time, I'm like, that music is phenomenal. Like I feel like it's very underrated. I feel like Charlie Clouse's score does not get enough credit because I know when this movie came out, not a lot of people are doing like spoofs on YouTube and all kinds of like little videos. I'd hear it a lot on videos, but no one ever talks about how great the music actually is. And I think it's fucking awesome. It really just packs the punch and sells it for the end every single time for me. But yeah, so I would say Saw it still holds up pretty well for me. I would say at least probably a solid 4. I still just have fun watching it. It's just it started a whole new era of horror and yeah, it's just so many good things to come out of it. For me, it's just a fun, interesting concept. What about
yeah. I, I know. Well, so to speak, I know what's coming in the next several movies. I know, the gore and stuff, and we'll see with the new twists and
you?
all that jazz.
Yep.
And I'm wondering what all will come from the spiral ones too. How they're gonna do with that? If it's just gonna be a short 2-3 movie series or
I don't know.
what
I mean,
have you,
because
or not.
I don't know what's gonna happen. It led the box office technically, but it only made like what 8.8 million over the weekend, its opening weekend. So I don't know. It may be the end because technically that was kind of like the second reboot. The one previous to that was kind of like a soft reboot. So I don't know.
I
It may
think
be the
it's
end.
got potential there, and I
No,
hope
because
the right people see it and
yeah, I mean, like I
take
said,
it.
again, some people are into it, some people aren't, especially after a certain point. But yeah, where that one left off, I was honestly just more so, especially when you look at this one, and I'll be interested to see how you feel going throughout, with this particular character, the original Jigsaw, and his motivations and how he goes about what he does, and you compare it to the new guy, because the new guy, in Spiral, that's bit of story, and with Zeke's character Chris Rock, I did feel that dynamic could be actually interesting going forward, because I didn't see him very much like a villain per se. Technically he is, but he's also kind of like not doing like a horrible thing. He's doing it to certain types of people. So I would be interested to see where that would go, but we would just have to see.
I know.
And
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Is
yeah.
I'm looking to see what happens in these next movies and see what will come of that.
If
The
if
newer
we get them,
ones,
if we get
if
them,
there's anything.
yeah, if we
So
get them. Like I said, for me
shows or
personally, just
whatever.
yeah,
I
for me
don't.
personally, it'd be like, yeah, I kind of do hope a little bit. It's like I
Yeah.
kind of want to see it. Obviously, I mean, I can't deny that, but like I said, if it doesn't, it is what
Well,
it is.
yeah.
I
Like
mean,
I said in our other video about the actual movie, I'm like,
mhm.
it's got it there. I can
Yeah,
see where they can go with this.
yeah,
So it's just a matter of getting it done.
yeah, most definitely. All right, yeah. So anyway, that'll do it for our review of Saw from back in 2004. It just feels different because I know it's from my era as opposed to like the 80s and stuff like that. So that's why I feel like 2004 is like shit. It's like, dang. Okay, then. Yeah. So yeah, that'll do it for our review of Saw. Next up would be Saw 2 from 2005, and that's where we definitely get a lot more information. So I'd be most curious to see how you will react to that. So that will do it for this review. Like, comment, subscribe if you would. We would greatly appreciate that, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.